Christina Applegate, the beloved actress known for her fierce wit, raw vulnerability, and unapologetically authentic personality, has recently been hospitalized following a severe kidney infection, an ordeal that has not only shaken her physical health but emotionally taxed her already difficult journey with multiple sclerosis. The 53-year-old Emmy-winning actress shared her current health crisis in the most Christina Applegate way possible, by recording an episode of her podcast Messy from a hospital bed in Los Angeles alongside her close friend and co-host Jamie Lynn Sigler. Tone of the podcast was markedly different from their usual episodes. There was no cheery banter or playful sarcasm. Instead, Christina sounded weary, in visible discomfort, her voice carrying the weight of pain that was clearly becoming too heavy to bear. From the sterile hospital room, where beeping machines hummed quietly in the background, she opened up about what had brought her there. Kidney infection wasn't just a minor ailment, it had advanced to both of her kidneys, causing what she described as unbearable agony. So much pain. "I'm screaming," she confessed. "They ordered me an emergency CT at 2 in the morning. Christina, never one to hide behind pleasantries, was blunt about her suffering. She tried to describe the torment she felt that night, how the sudden, stabbing pain in her lower back made her question whether something far worse was happening inside her body. "Of course, my brain's like, oh, my appendix is bursting," she joked through the pain. But the truth was no laughing matter. It wasn't her appendix, it was a fast-spreading kidney infection that demanded immediate attention. The nightmare began while she was overseas visiting family in Europe. She had been hoping to enjoy a peaceful trip, perhaps a break from the strain her body has been under since being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2021. But things took a turn. While abroad, she started feeling off, an indescribable sense of internal chaos, something foreign even to a woman who has grown intimately familiar with pain. Christina didn't know what exactly was wrong, but she knew enough to trust her instincts. And so, the moment her plane touched down in Los Angeles, she headed straight to the hospital. Her arrival wasn't casual. She wasn't going to sit in an ER for hours waiting to be seen. She was determined. I want to be admitted," she told staff. She knew her body, and she knew something wasn't right. There was no time to delay, no time to play guessing games. "I'm staying here because I want answers," she said emphatically. "I want every test that you can possibly think of or ones that you haven't even thought of, and I want them done." This wasn't a moment for patience, it was a moment for survival. As she shared these details from the hospital, Christina's raw honesty was both sobering and powerful. There was no effort to sugarcoat her pain, no mask of strength. Her courage wasn't in pretending she was okay, it was in showing the world that she wasn't. That vulnerability is what has always made Christina Applegate stand out, both as a performer and a person. Her pain was real, and her voice was a lifeline to anyone who might feel alone in their suffering. In describing her treatment, she explained that she was on 4 antibiotics, a critical measure for someone with an infection that had spread so dangerously. "'Cause of this kidney infection, I have to have intravenous antibiotics right now. And that's where we're at," she explained, her tone a mix of frustration and surrender. She wasn't asking for sympathy, she was simply telling the truth. Early on, doctors suspected it might be a urinary tract infection, a far more common and less threatening issue. One physician even questioned her hygiene habits, asking her about her wiping technique, which she recounted with disbelief. "What am I back wiping?" she said with her usual sarcastic edge. Seriously, I'm 53. It was a moment of dark humor, her way of injecting levity into a situation that was anything but funny. Yet beneath the sarcasm there was real hurt, not just physical but emotional. Christina's body has been through so much already. In 2021, she revealed that she had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a chronic and often disabling disease that attacks the central nervous system. It was a gut-punch revelation for fans who had watched her light up the screen for decades, from her days as Kelly Bundy on Married with Children to her heartbreaking and brilliant performance in Dead to Me. Multiple sclerosis is a disease that doesn't follow rules. Can rob you of your balance, your energy, your ability to walk or speak clearly, and sometimes all of that in a single day. Since her diagnosis, Christina has faced tremendous physical challenges. But she has also shown immeasurable strength. Her public appearances have become rare, but when she does show up, be it at award shows, interviews, or podcast episodes, she never hides her truth. And yet, even for someone as resilient as Christina, the pain sometimes becomes too much. She admitted during the podcast that she breaks down often, emotionally overwhelmed. "I sometimes fall into the nurse's arms like a freako, just like crying," she shared. There's no shame in her tears. They are a reflection of the invisible war she fights every day. The toll of living with MS is profound. It affects everything: how you move, how you sleep, how you think. Christina has been incredibly open about her symptoms, including numbness, exhaustion, and difficulty walking. She now uses a cane and has been candid about the fact that her acting career has taken a back seat while she focuses on her health. The once effortless grace with which she commanded stages and cameras has been replaced by daily battles with her own body. Despite it all, Christina has refused to disappear. Instead, she's found a new voice through her podcast, Messy, which she co-hosts with Jamie-Lynn Sigler, another actress who lives with MS. Podcast isn't polished or sanitized, it's messy, raw, and unfiltered. Two women talk about everything from illness to motherhood to mortality. It's not always easy to listen to, but it's always real. And it's this realness that makes Christina Applegate such a rare kind of star, not because of her talent, though she has that in spades, but because of her willingness to be vulnerable. In an industry that values illusion, she offers truth. In a culture that celebrates perfection, she shows us the beauty of imperfection. She reminds us that being human is not about being flawless, it's about showing up, broken pieces and all. As she recovers from this latest health scare, her fans are rallying behind her once again. Messages of support have flooded social media, with countless people expressing admiration for her honesty and courage. Many who live with chronic illness have thanked her for giving voice to their experiences, for saying out loud what so many feel but are too afraid to admit. There's something profoundly comforting in knowing that even someone as seemingly untouchable as Christina Applegate cries into a nurse's arms, doubts her body, and worries about the future. Connects her to the rest of us, to every person who has ever felt betrayed by their own body, every person who has ever begged for answers in a cold hospital room, every person who has ever been too tired to keep pretending they're fine. Christina isn't just a celebrity battling an infection or a disease. She's a woman who's spent years carrying the burden of fame, illness, and expectation, all while still managing to crack a joke about toilet paper. That's not just resilience, that's grace. And while this chapter in her story is a painful one, it's also a reminder of who she is, someone who doesn't just survive but who shares her survival with the world, so others might feel less alone in their own struggle. As her treatment continues, Christina remains in the hospital under close observation. Doctors are monitoring her infection and ensuring that the antibiotics are working effectively. She's still in pain, and the road to recovery will likely be slow and uncertain, but there is hope. There is always hope, and with Christina Applegate, there's also honesty, heart, and humor, even in the darkest moments. She may not know what tomorrow holds, but one thing is clear: she's not giving up. And in telling her story, bruised, bold, and beautiful, she's giving the rest of us permission to stop pretending we're okay and to simply be human.